Are your choices based on self-respect, or you rely more on feelings and emotions? Let's grab control of that in this transformation series. We're going to talk about making better choices. And today it's going to be about making choices leaning on self-respect over just emotional feelings. I also have some other podcasts based on emotional or rational choices. You can scroll back for that. I am Nurse Ann. I'm a certified emergency and mental health registered nurse. And today we're going to talk about self-respect, making choices based on self-respect over your feelings. And so we're going to go to an article, then we're going to have some bonus content. And at the end, there's a prize. I'll tell you about that soon. The first article is from Psych Central, and it's how to regain your self-respect and why it matters. And self-respect is knowing you're worthy and treating yourself accordingly. Respecting yourself is the first step toward understanding you deserve love, consideration, and opportunities like everyone else. Our level of self-respect acts like almost like a blueprint to instruct others how to engage with us. That was by Jamie Zuckerman. And when we develop healthy reciprocal relationships, we find ourselves surrounded by those who respect us, support us, and treat us how we want to be treated. Yes, I know you've heard that before. We teach others how to treat us. And it starts with self-respect, self-worth. And there's a lot of that on this website. This channel is here for your inspirational wellness. And at the website, nurseann.com, that's Ann with an E, there's so much there for your inspirational wellness to help you develop that, do that soul searching, that introspection, and trauma healing, just to have a better life and be able to have that self-respect, which all your relationships and choices can emanate from that, along with your faith. So self-respect is loving yourself, treating yourself with care. It's the result of staying true to your values and not being willing to compromise. The more you engage in behaviors consistent with your beliefs and values, the more you'll feel fulfilled and confident. This in turn will improve your sense of well-being, she says. Respecting yourself also prevents you from comparing yourself in your life with others. And this can be especially important in today's digital world. Self-comparison is rampant on platforms, Instagram, TikTok. And when we have that low level of self-respect, we tend to engage in more social comparison, which can make us feel worse about ourselves, not good enough, and minimize our achievements. How do you feel your self-respect, your choices based on self-respect versus emotions or comparison rate on a scale of 1 to 10? At its core, self-respect is a form of self-care. When someone has self-respect, they've accepted themselves and believe they're deserving of belonging, says Diva Robinson, a psychotherapist in New York City. We're wired to want connection and a sense of belonging. So self-belonging and acceptance is incredibly important for your psychological health too. And we talk a lot about this at this channel, that our mind, body, and spirit work together in synergy. And that is so important to do that self-introspection, that healing, and working on these things. So they give us 5 tips to develop and show self-respect. If you feel you need to work on caring more about yourself and showing more self-respect, listen to these tips. So number 1, revisit your values. And we talk a lot about that on my other podcasts. Your values are very important, and it should be at the base, the core, the foundation of how we live and show up in the world and make our choices based on our faith and our values. So we have to clarify what our values are. They're firm beliefs about what's important or desirable in your life. What is important and desirable in your life? And they give us examples of integrity, tolerance, loyalty, generosity, cooperation, wisdom, and commitment. And she says to define your core values, ask yourself these 2 questions. What do you value most in life? And are your daily actions taking you closer or further away from the things you value most? What do you think about that? Once you do this, consider some following reflections. Who do you admire and why? What are the things you're not willing to compromise on in life? What would you like to be known as? And speaking of that, I just finished the Legacy series. You can see that at the website, and also scroll back on the videos. We did a series of your legacy. It's your everyday legacy, because it's not just for the future, it's also as you go. So once again, what would you like to be known as? What are some things you aspire to become as a person that you've not yet worked on? What's important to you in a friendship or a romantic relationship? And how do you think people with different views and experiences should be treated? So try to work on these and similar questions by being honest with yourself. Number 2, take inventory of your relationships. I also have a podcast about a spiritual and life inventory. Just scroll back if you want to do that work. And they tell us that you don't live in isolation, even if you don't have too many people around you. Self-respect starts with the people you choose to have in your life and your heart. Surround yourself with people who empower you to accept and embrace your authentic self, says Robin. And some of the questions are the people you surround yourself with building you up? Are they? Do your significant others support your dreams, opinions, lifestyle, and preferences? Are you being treated by others as you want to be treated? If not, it's helpful to set boundaries. I have podcasts on boundaries also. Boundaries are used to let others know what you're willing to accept and tolerate, Zuckerman states. And number 3, try to focus on activities you enjoy. Self-respect is also about your life satisfaction, and that might start by spending time and effort on the things you're passionate about. What are you passionate about? Although it's not always possible, try to include a few activities in your routine that make your heart happy. And they can be related to social life, school, work, etc. And some of them could include starting a new hobby, reconnecting with one, setting professional goals, reading a new book about personal growth, fiction, or career development, start a blog, or a personal journal, dancing, singing, listening to your favorite songs, starting a new exercise routine, learning to cook, planning an event for the family, volunteering your time for a cause you're passionate about. That is important. That also boosts your healthy dopamine, your healthy self-worth and self-esteem when you help and invest in others. Number 4, practicing self-care will help. Some of these activities we've heard: relaxation techniques to manage anxiety and stress, spending time in nature, connecting with your favorite people, revisiting your diet to fit your health needs, taking pauses to reset, rest, and recharge. That is important. Number 5, identify and nurture your needs. Taking care of yourself, identifying what that care means. Check in with your needs on a daily basis. Instead of shaming yourself for having needs, nurture your needs. It's natural to feel apprehensive about spending too much time on yourself, especially if your responsibilities include taking care of others. But attending to your needs is essential to your well-being and can even prepare you to take better care of others if it's a difference for you. And so what's the difference between self-respect and self-esteem? Self-esteem is how much you love yourself. Self-respect is how you show that love to yourself. Usually having strong self-esteem will motivate you to respect yourself more, thus thereby helping you make those choices that enhance your life trajectory. Self-esteem also tends to depend on your interactions with the world. It is not contingent on success or performance. It's more of an accepted, unchanging view of ourselves and our worth. Self-esteem, however, is based on our abilities, how well we think we can handle ourselves in given situations. It's about value and acceptance and esteem, and it's about evaluations of your skills and abilities. So I hope you enjoyed that article from Psych Central. Now we're going to move on to some bonus content from some of my published devotionals, and you can see a link to those at nurseann.com. Website nurseann.com. It's in the description, and that's Ann with an E. Now everyone take a health break and get a drink of water, because it's healthy even for your cells. Don't you want healthy cells? I will wait for you. Yes. So as I mentioned, One of the newest releases is your Everyday Legacy Poetry Devotional by Nurse Ann. Because you know what? Your legacy isn't just for the future. It's for now as we go. So this is going to help you splash impactful transformation as you go. And today I chose to encourage us. It's a poem titled Self-Worth, but the devotional part reminds us that a healthy sense of self-worth does not always come naturally. Healing from trauma bonds and criticism imposed by others is one way to start the journey. Even after doing our self-esteem homework, our minds can tempt us to replay the broken records of the past. Does that happen to you? Leave that in the comments. And also please follow, share, and leave your comments today. So cultivating our sense of self-worth will help with the inner confidence to radiate impact and blessings on the lives of others. Do you want to radiate impact and blessings on yourself and others? I hope you do. Refining our values and integrity can foster our sense of self-respect and confidence. And they offer some tips, being kind to yourself, challenging negative thoughts, recognizing your strengths, celebrate your success, setting those boundaries. Avoid being a people pleaser. Remember, it's okay to say no. Take care of yourself. So that's some of the tips from my Everyday Legacy Poetry Devotional. Link at the website by Nurse Ann. And the next devotional that I wrote, one of them is a mental healing poetry devotional, because we all need mental healing. And today I wrote one called Choices. I'm just going to read you a couple lines. Just ask yourself this. Do you want to be blessed or choose to stay stressed? Do you want to keep the truth real or choose to act on how you feel? I'm going to let you read the rest of that at Mental Healing Poetry Devotional by Nurse Ann. And my latest that just released, this is so helpful for what we're talking about. It's a mental strength devotional. It's 31 days of focus for growing your mental wellness and resilience. That does help our choices and our self-respect and self-worth. So it's also going to help you deepen your roots of mental resilience along with building your faith on solid ground. So Mental Strength Devotional by Nurse Ann. And I chose one also from my other devotional, Ignite Life Poetry Devotional. This one has a lot of very intense and serious real life situations that we see in the world, struggles that people go through that we also go through. And a poem that I wrote, and also a devotional and just encouragement for you. And there's also a link on my website to see some of those. But this one is from a poem called Inferior. But the devotional part reminds us that you are enough. You don't have to fit into a certain mold or adopt a so-called cool way to fit in that's promoted in media and our surroundings. So embrace your uniqueness and remember you are already enough. I also have a couple more devotionals for you. Inspiration Battles devotional, because the battles to stay inspired can be overwhelming. There's soul searching with a dose of encouragement, biblical medicine for real life, so you can stay encouraged. And then there's Energize Health, Body, Mind, and Spirit. And last but not least, on the devotionals, there's Word Puzzles devotional. I looked up and found unique and different and interesting words, linked that to our inner thought struggles and life battles. And there's also a devotional, Relevant Biblical Prescriptions to Get Your Dose. Also, medicine for your soul. Do you need soul medicine? Now we're going to jump into the bonus of the prize. I will tell you what that is after everyone gets another drink of water so you can have healthy cells. And then we will get out of here until next time. So, as I've told you before, in my free time as a busy nurse on the front lines of mental health and emergency, I wrote this 6-part action-packed drama series, fictional drama. You get to ride along with the frontline workers as they rescue those in crisis of mental, physical, and spiritual. I'm going to tell you about the 6 stories, but it's actually To make it almost free and easier, I put it in one book. That's the one you want, is the Mental Falls First 6 Stories edition by Nurse Ann, because it's an interconnected series. And with one day, with your help, it will be a television drama and or web series. So it's full of quick action, but you're going to ride along with the frontline workers, rescuing those in crisis of that mental, physical, and spiritual. So once again, the Mental Falls First 6 Stories edition by Nurse Ann, link on the website. We don't always have time to read. I don't. So I put it in an exciting audiobook narrated by Drama Simpson. This is what it looks like on Audible and iTunes. He brought it to life with action noises, different character voices, siren noises. You're going to feel like you're right there in all the action and the drama. The Mental Falls First 6 Stories edition by Nurse Ann. Check that out. And as always, leave a review. So we already have finished The Mental Falls Sheep Among Wolves. You met the young lady fending for herself on the street while battling frightening hallucinations, trying to fend off ravenous predatory wolves. We also talked about depression and addiction. Book 2 is Dr. John Doe, and we talked about Alzheimer's, dementia, memory struggles, also more action and drama and danger. This series is full of action, danger, romance, faith, and inspiration, along with suspense. So Dr. John Doe. And then book 3 is A Tent Under the Bridge. We really get into homelessness, danger, drama, how the community and the church help, how sometimes they don't want to help, see what happens, follow the relationship of the workers. And then we're in the Mental Falls Defenders of the Week. I'm about to read you that chapter. We talk about bullying and anxiety and how they help each other overcome that. Then we're going to jump into Ready, Willing, and Able. We talk about the spectrum, disabilities, and how people can shine in their unique talents, and lots more action and drama. And then the culmination is Out of Control. Why? We talk about relapse, addiction, entitled people, and the culmination of an amazing relationship. So once again, the Mental Falls First 6 Stories edition, link at the website. So let me get into this so you can get out of here. Go on with your day. We're now in chapter 20. We just finished chapter 19, which was Mercy in Action. Now we're on chapter 20, Answered Prayers, and we will get started. When her shift ended, Angela hurried to meet Jonathan for dinner as she had promised. She had heard the whole story and wanted to encourage the ministry leader who had become a great friend. She was surprised when she sat down at the table with him and noticed that he actually looked calm and peaceful and had a smile on his face. You'll have to scroll back to see the big argument that he was entangled in. That is why she was surprised that he looked calm and peaceful. Hey, what's going on? I heard about the accusations and I came to cheer you up. But you look like you're doing just fine, she asked. I am now, he stated. I'm so glad to see you, Angela. It's always a pleasure to hang out with you. Not only are you beautiful, but you're such an inspiration. Whoa, did she really just hear the beautiful word? She wondered to herself. With her face turning red, she meekly replied, Thank you. Relieved that Jonathan was not planning on leaving the church, the two talked about what he might say to the elders to let them know he wanted to forgive them and hope that they would be able to work things out. After their meal, they said a prayer together and made plans to head home, promising to see each other Sunday morning. As they walked toward the door, Jonathan's phone rang. He looked at the number and noticed it was coming from the church elder. Bracing himself for the possible rejection, he answered his phone. You'll never believe it, he said as he pulled Angela into a hug after his call. Surprised by the hug, but enjoying every minute of it, she looked up into his eyes and asked him what was going on. That was Robert Davis, he said. He and Brian owe me an apology. They want to meet with me after church tomorrow to talk about expanding the ministry efforts. Well, amen, she exclaimed. And then next chapter is chapter 21, New Attitude. I will see you at the next nurseann.com podcast because I know we all want that life transformation. So I'll see you next time.